how to resolve this situation. This is what we're asking today, so I invite you to pick from pile 1, 2 or 3 and we will get straight into your reading. I'm going to pick a couple of cards here and then tune into your energy before we look at the cards. You feel already stuck, this is what I'm picking up on. And I'm being shown that the way that you're looking at the problem, the way that you're looking at the situation, is not the way that's going to bring you out of this situation. And I feel that you already know this, I feel like you're aware of this. Let's look at these cards. Jump in. Andromedan energy, say yes to change. Cracked open. Rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. I'm being shown that you're in a situation where there are themes that you've seen before, there's a kind of cycle or a pattern, but I'm being shown that the way out of this situation, the way to resolve it, is to recognize that it's not representative of who you are. That you're going through something that reminds you of something of the past, and it can remind you of so many things, and in different ways. You know, there's no one way of being reminded of the past, and you're feeling stuck because of this. Maybe you were stuck in a past situation, maybe you couldn't change something, so you're trying to change the current situation, but in a way it's not for you to change. It's not for you to change everything, because I feel like it relates to someone else or to other people, and you can't change them. But what you can do is to decide that this is, the way I'm seeing this as a symbolic image is as if, let's say you're walking through a kind of art studio or an art gallery, and you go into different rooms, and each room represents a different narrative. And there are people in your life in each of these rooms, and you might see the same person in multiple rooms, and there are different narratives, different interpretations attached to them and to your interactions. And all of these interactions can remind you of past dynamics, maybe dynamics that you grew up with. But ultimately you recognize as you walk through these rooms that you are yourself, and you're not your past narratives. You know, even though we live through experiences, and our brain creates narratives based on the data it's given, based on experiences it goes through, it's not really the essence of who you are. So the challenge in this moment is to recognize that those narratives are there, but to keep choosing yourself, to keep coming back to yourself. And I feel like it's really hard at the moment because there's a lot going on. I feel like you're someone who in the past maybe has been really good at just keeping true to yourself, staying true to yourself. But there's something about the current situation where, again, I'm seeing, you know, this art gallery example. If there are 8 different galleries that you're walking through, seeing different perspectives, it's a lot to take in. There are lots of different triggers coming up from the past. For you guys, I really want to ask why this is happening. I feel like this is important to you to understand why this is happening. So I'm going to ask this question. Why is there so much going on at this particular moment? I saw, I think, a Yang card flash out at me as I was shuffling, and to me, that was saying to me, the message coming through was that you're taking action towards a lot of things in your life, and there's something to do with money and stability that's coming up, and it's like as you're working towards creating stability, all of the areas where you haven't felt stable in the past seem to be presenting themselves. So let's see what's coming through. Appreciation. I feel like this image represents your true self, and you've gone through a lot. I'm just feeling this sense of you've been through a lot, you've seen a lot of life, many different aspects of life, and I just feel like as you create more and more of your own life and do things your own way, the past has come to meet you and you're grappling with a lot. And it's almost as if your psyche has said to you, you need to observe all of the things that has happened to create a kind of clearing, to clear out that energy, and then you'll have more space to be able to bring in the things that you really want. And I also feel like you've been really doubtful about what you know, whatever it is that you're working towards in your life. You've had some doubts about whether it's the right thing. This card, appreciation, to me it's saying appreciate yourself. How do I resolve this? Appreciate yourself. Understand that everything you're going through, it's not your fault. But you've been through a lot in your life, and I feel like you need to really hold space for that, and if you need to, maybe get someone else to support you as well, whether they're a professional or just a friend. But I feel like you've been through a lot, and I feel like it's hard to admit that sometimes. Okay, I'm going to pick some tarot cards here. I just keep getting the sense that you feel doubtful about what you want. You're doubtful that the things you're trying to create, are they ready for me? Are they right for me? And I'm just being shown by Spirit that it's just a block, really, that's, the feeling of doubt around it. That's just, it seems to be a sort of block of maybe not feeling fully supportive of yourself because of what you've been through. But to not doubt it, to not doubt that it's yours, it's yours to work towards. Four of Wands, celebration. I'm being shown that there's something that's happened, something has come into your life which is a support for you. And this is going to be your way out. This is going to be how you're going to resolve this. And I'm being shown also that only take this message if it resonates, but for those of you that this message is for, the message is to not spend too much time ruminating over whatever this support is and whatever the process is, because you want to be you want to come back to yourself, you want to experience your true self as much as possible, and ruminating over a process or things that come up, sort of speculating too much about things is not the right way to go about it. It's not going to... I'm just being shown that sometimes, especially if you're processing a lot of things that might have happened in the past, maybe you just happened to be in a particular place at a particular time, and it's not... even though if these things happened when you were younger, or you might have just felt like, oh, it must say something about me, but Spirit's saying it actually doesn't necessarily. And I think this is one of the hardest things to come to terms with, is that it actually doesn't, and I think especially those of us who are spiritual, we feel like, because obviously we're all shaped by our experiences, I think we can assume that if something happens to us or we witness something, it somehow says something about our life purpose. But sometimes the challenge is to recognise that we are just actually our own unique person in this world. It's a bit as if the analogy that's coming through into my mind is, imagine if some kind of like alien or an angel, landed on the earth. They come from somewhere else, entirely. What goes on the earth is not necessarily anything to do with them, but if they find themselves here, they might start, after a while, being shaped by what happens here and thinking that it's saying something about them. Whereas I'm being shown that sometimes it makes more sense, even though it's really confusing to do this, it makes more sense to say, actually, the experiences I went through don't really say anything about me. And it's that challenge that will bring you back to yourself with this appreciation card. Okay, how to resolve this. going to pick a couple more cards. I'm being shown that you doubt yourself in relation to other people in some way. I just feel like sometimes you haven't had the space to be yourself. 10 of Pentacles, wealth. Yeah, I feel like you're working towards wealth or stability. There's something about security, stability, and it comes into also being in your power and being yourself. All of these things are related. 6 of Pentacles, kindness. So I feel like your authentic self, you really want to give back to people. And I actually feel like you are closer to achieving your goals than you realise. I do feel like you are, but it's almost like, now I'm seeing a long distance runner, and as they get into the last couple of miles towards the finish line, that's really, I'm not a runner, I don't know. I'm assuming that that's one of the hardest places to be at, because you're so close, but that's when it starts to get hard. And what I'm seeing here with achieving your goals, and achieving your goals, I have to say, is exactly the same in this situation as becoming who you are, just being your true authentic self. And this is just the stage of life you're at, where being yourself looks like achieving your goals. You're almost there, and this is why everything is so intense at the moment. And I feel like there's just a lot going on in your life, so you could just be dealing with so much, not just internally, but externally in your life. I'm getting the message that as you start to achieve your goals, and I feel like it's going to be a kind of gradual process. I don't feel like it's a sort of overnight thing. I think it's going to build up over time. But as you start to do that, a lot of the areas in your life where you have not had clarity and have not been sure what you want, this is going to start shifting. But you need a sense of stability, you need a sense of power and security within yourself to actually have the answers to some things. Going back to this Rebecca Campbell deck and seeing what comes through. Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. You're also at a stage in life where you're about to kind of wrap up. To some extent, to the extent that we wrap up cycles, you're wrapping it up. So again, this is why everything is very intense right now. But you're ready for this. You're ready to do this. I feel like you're really ready to launch yourself. That's the image I'm getting. Like you're launching yourself into the world. It's like you're taking off your costume, like some kind of costume mask you've been wearing, and saying, I've been waiting in the wings. I've been waiting for this moment to step into life and to show up as I truly am. So I really hope that this reading has supported you today. Do let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you like my reading style. Check out the other readings on the channel, and I hope to speak to you soon. Pile number 2, we're going to ask how to resolve this. I'm going to pick the cards and tune into the energy before we start looking at them. Pile number 2, how to resolve this. I see you making headway in a situation, but then things seem to pull you back. There's something that keeps coming up, that it can be different situations, but something keeps pulling you back in some way. Observer. Soulmates, serendipity. So you have this strong sense of fate, or you can tune into spirit. You're very intuitive. The way that you see life is deeply spiritual, and I'm getting energy, so you may be an energy worker, you may work with energy, manifestation, you might tune into your psychic gifts. You have an incredibly strong sense of intuition, and I feel like you actually live all of your life through your intuition. But there's this other, you find it sometimes hard to live with certain people, or there are certain dynamics or situations in your life that you find really challenging. And I'm being drawn to this observer card. At times, this card is showing me that at times you feel like you are the observer in your life, but in a sense of you feel like you're out of sync with sometimes the people around you, or perhaps just life generally. You feel like you have different perspective, and it's hard to resonate fully with people who don't have a spiritual or intuitive perspective of life. And then at times you want to be the observer. You feel caught up with your emotions, and you want that different sense of an observer to be, to be able to resonate with stepping back from a situation and just seeing things as they are. I'm not sure at the moment why the soulmates card has come up, but I feel like it could represent family for some of you, a sense of bonding. It's almost as if, as I'm looking at it, it's going into grayscale in my eye from my perspective, and it's almost like maybe that sense of being in sync with someone, or a sense of family, a sense of love. It feels like it's a little more inaccessible at the moment, or at times it feels inaccessible. And I'm just realised there's also this, I don't know if you can see this, there's an image of a face, and it's almost like that's you, just kind of slightly out of focus, observing this. I'm going to pick a couple more cards to get a fuller picture of what's going on. So I'm going to shuffle this Green Witch Oracle deck, and we'll see what comes through. There's a similarity with pile 1 here, so if you're drawn to pile 1, you may want to check out that reading as well. Because as I'm shuffling these cards, the message I'm getting is that you're quite close to resolving this situation. Duality. This banana card always makes me laugh. I don't know why. Got longevity and regeneration. As I'm tuning in, I feel as if you have resolved the situation. I just feel like you're not quite where you want to be yet. And I'm being drawn to the numbers on these cards. So we've got 17, 39 and 27. So they may or may not resonate or have significance for you. And 17, 39, 27. It could be, say, places you've lived, ages that are significant. I feel like it's just another message, sign for you. But yeah, I just feel like you're not where you want to be yet. And this is why you're feeling like you have a situation that needs resolution. I was asking, do you need to be more patient? But the Spirit's saying, no, it's not really about that. I feel like, I'm feeling quite emotional as this is coming through, because the message that is coming through, because I feel like I was asking, okay, well, if they don't need to be patient, then why are they not where they want to be? And Spirit was saying that you're not where you want to be in your life yet. In terms of, this could be, in terms of different things, like your living situation, your career, maybe your love life, family, so many different things. And they're saying it's because you had to really understand that past experiences, I'm feeling especially probably childhood, when you were really young and you didn't have much power in your life, to change things, you had to really, in your present life, come to terms with that and actually recognise that it was real, that there were things, there have been things that have happened in your life that have really had an impact, and that they would impact anyone, and that's true for you, and that's life. And it's about being kind to yourself. It's about really loving yourself and supporting yourself, and just recognising that it's like whatever you've been through would have an effect on anyone. And I feel like in the past your ego is, that, like the healthy sense of the ego that's tried to protect you and try to create success and what you want. It's like that's hidden some things from you. And it's just about, developing kindness towards all parts of yourself, your inner child, your ego self, your authentic, kind of truest sense of self, your spiritual self. It's about, removing the sense of duality here longevity, I feel like, is just talking about the process of life. And then we have regeneration, which is pulling everything together and just really, really loving yourself. That's the best way I can think of expressing it. It's about going through a process of just really, and this is a long process, but it's like once, I think this isn't in that you're in the process of this happening. And I think once something clicks for you in a deep way and you can embody it, I feel like then it will be time for more movement in your life and for things to start getting better and for more joy to come in and a sense of peace. Let's see what else we have here. I'm just going to pick from, I don't remember what these cards are called, but we're going to see what comes through. I also feel like you've been trying in some way to fit in or to figure out how to show up in a particular situation. This could be, for instance, your work life, or it could be something else. And I feel like Spirit's saying you're going to have the most success or growth or joy when you allow yourself to be the aspects of yourself that you feel like you shouldn't be or that don't fit in this situation. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure that message is for everyone watching this, but I feel like it will be for some of you. Yin Yang. So I saw Yang pop out earlier in a different card deck. Appreciation. This came up in pile number 1, this card. Daughter value. So I feel like this relates to your career for some of you. But I feel like it's your whole life. So I feel like it's everything in a way. But daughter value, I don't know whether some of you are artists. That's something I'm picking up for some of you possibly. Or you work in maybe a creative field. Or you want to. You're trying to really create big things in your life as well. But you're very much, okay, so what I'm feeling is that in a way this thing that you're trying to resolve is, I feel like you're working towards a lot of yang energy, like you're trying to be in yang energy, trying to create, take action, get things to happen. But the universe is throwing at you a lot of yin energy, so it's more about being contemplative and looking within and processing a lot of emotions. And so it's almost like that's the challenge. How do I resolve this? It's just the balance. It's the balance of energy. And this is, I feel like, why I feel like you're closer to what you want than you realize. Because, you haven't chosen to be in the yin energy. It's just that life is giving you that when you want to be in yang. But it's like the balance of yin is greater at the moment. And so that's the thing that really just needs to... It's about just being there and allowing it to be, and once it starts clearing, and I feel like it really relates a lot to that sense of you supporting yourself and showing yourself love. Once that happens, once that starts to shift, you'll be back into a more yang energy, and then the action you take will be more successful because it will be appropriate. And you'll feel this, because I feel like there may be some resistance towards being yin, just allowing your emotions to come up, because it doesn't feel like it's supporting you in getting towards your goals. Let's see what else. I'm going to pick some tarot cards and just see what else comes through. I hope that this message is making sense to you. Let me know in the comments if it resonates. Okay, so we have the Hierophant, guidance, the Wheel of Fortune, karma. Yeah, this card is essentially saying, and I know this is maybe a frustrating message, but it's saying really that you know what's going on. You recognise, in a sense, where you're at. I think it's just a really hard place to be in. You understand the process of manifestation, and you're at you might be a very significant age in some way. This could be kind of a societal, like a significant age, or a significant stage in your life, or it could be astrologically that there is some kind of, like the Saturn return, the Chiron return, some kind of some sort of significant age, I feel. You're at a specific stage in your life that's very considered significant. You're just in a very powerful point with the Wheel of Fortune card, and as this wheel turns, it's like I'm seeing it as a roundabout. You're going to be able to jump off that roundabout and kind of get back to your life. I feel like that's the feeling I'm getting from you. It's like I just want to get back to my life. So I'm going to pick one more card here and just see what comes through. And also I'm just getting, don't give up on your goals, keep going. Know peace like home. You're coming home to yourself. Everything is happening, like even if you're not seeing progress right now, it's like if you're, I don't know, reaching out to people and they're not responding, for example, just trust that, you know, 3 months' time someone might get back to you, and you don't have the evidence that it's working right now, but just keep going, don't give up on that aspect, and just really learn to love yourself, you know, whatever that means to you and however you can express that and explore that. So I really hope that this message has supported you. Do let me know in the comments. Check out the other videos on the channel. I'll link some in the description, and I really hope to read for you soon. Pile 3, how to resolve this. I'm going to pick some cards first, and then I will tune into the energy before we look at them. Pile 3, how do we resolve this? I'm being drawn to the ocean in all of these cards, and there's a power. The ocean has power. At the same time, it's not always the loudest element. And I'm feeling that in your situation, the way to resolve this is to embody the water element, embody the ocean, and realize your power. I feel like I'm feeling a sense of tension around my jaw, and I'm feeling that you may feel a struggle around being heard or expressing yourself. But for some reason I'm being shown that this is not the solution to this problem. You know, focusing on the voice and expression or being heard, for some reason this is not being shown to me as the way to find the solution. How do I resolve this? So I'll see what comes through in the reading, but that's what I'm picking up initially. Decide. May you navigate with purpose. Release. May you lay down your burdens. Beauty. May you perceive nature's artistry afresh. I feel like you've been in a period of self-doubt, and also self-doubt may relate to one area of your life in particular where you're not certain of yourself. I'm being drawn to the heart chakra because there's something in your heart where I feel like you know what the answer is, but there's a lot in the way of recognizing that. So if you've felt blocked, I feel like, you know, that's sometimes a phrase we can hear a lot, especially those of us who are into, you know, spiritual self-development, healing modalities, this idea that we're blocked. But Spirit's trying to emphasize that a block is not just a word, it does actually represent something that's not, well, you know, the energy is not flowing. So I feel like in your heart, you know, with this Decide card, there's some kind of awareness that you have about your situation, but there's definitely something in the way of that being able to flow. So it's not easy for you to step into that decision or awareness. It's not a decision for everyone, but there's a kind of awareness about the truth, it feels. I feel like you're in a process of releasing something, but I think the beauty of this card is that I'm being shown that this process of releasing something, it's unconscious, it's to do with your subconscious, your unconscious, so it feels like you can relax into this process. I'm not sure what this process is, it could be so many different things, but it does feel like something specific and kind of targeted. So it could be that, you know, maybe you're in therapy or you're, I don't know, taking some course, or it feels like it's something, it's not just, it feels like something that you're dedicated to, and that's taking up time in your life. And I feel like you're not, I feel like, you know, your inner child and your mind, those parts of you are not quite sure where you're going to end up through this process, through this, maybe it's a practice, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm being shown that you can just let go, kind of like, you know, the water just runs wherever it flows wherever it goes, and I'm being shown the same for you. So it's like in your heart you kind of know what the resolution is, but there are some blocks. You're in this process of releasing those blocks. Love, forgive, belonging. I feel like Spirit's sharing with you that you do belong, but sometimes you feel like you don't. And I feel like I'm being shown that at the present moment or in the recent past, you've been focusing on certain areas of your life that feel like there's a friction in some way. But Spirit's saying that this is not really the origin of the issue. The origin of this issue is being released. There's a process where it's being released, and I feel like this is why we got that message at the beginning about being as powerful as water, but water is not necessarily vocal, it's just powerful, because I feel like you're being guided by life, you're being supported by Spirit. It's not an easy process for you at the moment in terms of what you're going through, but there are certain things in your current life that they could be problems. I'm not saying that they're not problems, and obviously make sure that this message resonates, but it feels like they're not as significant as they might feel at the moment, and it feels like it would be a waste of your energy to engage too much in that direction. I hope that that makes sense. I'm being shown that really the way you're feeling at the moment around this situation is to do with something else. It's perhaps something that happened earlier on in your life. It's something deeper. So I'm going to pick some tarot cards here and just see what comes through. We're going to ask how to resolve this. So I feel like you are in the process of resolving this, because you are in some process that's helping you to release areas where you're wounded, is what it's feeling like. You have the Moon, misinterpretation. I feel like this card is just showing us what we've been discussing, where it's really, there's something not about the present moment so much as the past, but your emotions are really running deep here. We've got the Ten of Cups, completion. Something is being wrapped up. There's a cycle of some kind. I also feel that you may be coming into a time where, not necessarily directly affecting you, but certain aspects of your circumstances that may be to do with other people. It feels like you're coming into a cycle of about 2 years where there might be a lot of changes. And again, I don't feel like this is directly to do with you. I feel like it's maybe affecting family or friends or people around you, or, you know, whatever this wider situation is, where there's going to just be a lot of change, and I think that that's going to shift the dynamics for you, which again is why I'm feeling like the resolution here is, it doesn't feel like it's about finding your voice, because I feel like Spirit's saying you actually have your voice. You have your voice. You know, you can be assertive and you can express yourself very clearly. I feel like you're very articulate. It's not so much that kind of issue, but it can feel like that and it might look like that, but there's a lot more stuff happening beneath the surface. There's this uncomfortable energy that I'm picking up on. That's how it feels at the moment. It's like there's just a discomfort, and you're not feeling like you belong at the moment. There's something about the dynamics in your life where you're feeling like you don't belong, but this is all coming to an end, possibly just gradually, you know, over the next 2 years, I'm feeling. But some of the things you might be concerned about at the moment are not going to come to fruition, because I feel like there are going to be a lot of changes. And again, I have to reiterate that I don't think this is like directly about your life. So it's not, I don't want you to worry and think, you know, what's going to happen to, say, where I'm living or my career. It's not really so much like that. It's more to do with people on the periphery of your life, maybe extended family or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. Let's pick a couple more cards here. Just getting a really like a sense of, like I wanted to sigh, and I felt this sense of relief. So I've got the Hanged Man, stillness. I feel like this is sort of representing how you're feeling a bit at the moment, where because you're in this process of releasing things, but it's a process and you're not fully there yet. You feel a bit stuck, like you can't get things to move. And we have the Ten of Swords conclusions. So we've got the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Swords. There's just a sense of relief. The Fool. Change. Yeah, so a lot of change. I'm just going to pick from a different deck. I kind of want to get the sense. I just want to ask Spirit if anything comes through here about what this means to you, this change. I've got this Green Witch Oracle deck. Emotion. Grounding. So I feel like you're going to really find your feet. And I'm just being shown this symbolic image of, it's like, imagine that you're in a car and you're driving in one direction, and driving towards you is another car, and in that car are all of the people representing this situation that's troubling you, that you're concerned by, and you feel like you need to resolve it. But it's like really they're going to carry on driving past you. So the moment that the moments that you're interacting with them are limited. And obviously it's probably a longer interaction than that in real life, but it's almost like, I don't know, it was bringing up a sense of fear almost within you, or almost kind of like impending doom. But it's not the situation that you worry that it could be. I'm going to pick some cards. The Thinking Woman. This is, to me, representing your potential. And I got 47 on this card. I'm sorry, it's this card deck is totally falling apart. But 47 may be significant to you in some way. I've also got on these cards 4 and 5, so they may also be significant. I'm not always drawn to the numbers, but sometimes I feel like I should point them out. And really I'm being drawn to, this woman's stance, her pose, her dress. There's something very powerful about her. And I would say the Thinking Woman in this reading is just representing her intelligence, self-awareness. And whatever it is that you really desire in your life, I feel is manifesting, and through this process you're manifesting it. The Temple Path. So I feel like you have not chosen the easiest path in life, and almost I feel like that not just in a sort of spiritual sense, but even just in your day-to-day life. I feel like you always strive for the best, and you really strive to create a life that you really want. And you're already, I'm getting just the message from Spirit, you have already created so much within yourself that's incredible. You did not choose the easy way out. I feel like you feel a bit alone at the moment. Let's see what's coming through. Goddess of the Moon. Yeah, I feel like you're sort of feeling connected to Spirit, but feeling a bit lost in some ways. I just feel like there's going to be a big clearing in your life in the next 2 years, but again, it's not like people who are really close and dear to you. It's more like stuff on the periphery of your life in some way that's going to start changing. I feel like you just need to really tune into yourself. Maybe you have a meditation practice, a Reiki practice, something like that. Anything that's going to help to ground you and just connect you to yourself is really going to help, because I do feel like you're in a period of time where it's just really important to have that sense of yourself at the moment, because that's the thing that's really going to guide you. So I really hope that this reading has supported you. Do let me know in the comments. So subscribe for more readings, and I hope to read for you soon.